Okay, hi guys, I'm back with the tutorial on how to make the tissue tape or paper tape flowers. So I have a strip of my fabric, and for this I'm just going to use a ribbon, but like I said, you can use any fabric. You can use felt, you can use muslin, you can use canvas, you can use just regular, any type of fabric. The possibilities are endless. And you can use any type of the tape. You can use the Seven Gypsies Jaffer tape. You can use Tim Holtz tissue tape. You can use Studio Calico tape. You can use, Studio Calico tape, sorry. You can use the Pink Paisley tapes. You can use any of the tapes that are out there now. So what I'm going to do is take my tape, and oh shoot, I should have had the end found on this. I can't wait for his little tape dispensers to be available, because I am definitely going to get one of those. Because if you cannot tell, I am addicted to tissue tape. I love the tissue tape. Okay, so you're just going to take a piece of your tissue tape, and you're going to start at one end of your fabric, and you're going to line it up. And you probably just want to leave like a centimeter or so of an edge right there, because you don't want the tape to go all the way to the end. I mean, you can, but it just looks neater when you put it all together if there's a little bit of fabric showing. I can give you an example like this so that you can tell that fabric is underneath there so that it frays. It just gives the flower more dimension and adds character to it. Same way with the tissue tape ones. It just adds a lot. This one I left a bigger piece of fabric, but you can leave whatever size of fabric edge that you want. This one I just did a little bitty, but that way if you decide to color it with Glimmer Mist or any other colored things that you want to do, the fabric will catch the color and it just really looks cool. So anyway, you want to go down your whole entire piece of your fabric, and you're just going to stretch it out and place it along the edge. And it doesn't really have to be too precise, because once you sew this together, you can go across and cut off any of the edges to make them clean. So what you're going to start out with is this. You're going to start out with a piece like this with the tissue tape on the fabric of your choice. Then what you're going to do is fold the end of your fabric over to meet to the other end, and you'll have a 1/2 inch piece like this with just your tape showing, and then the two ends of your fabric. So you have an end of fabric on this side and an end of fabric on that side, just like this. And then you're going to take your needle and your thread, and depending on what style of flower you're going to make, like this one, I want a two-sided, like a double layered flower. So for this technique, instead of sewing on the outside edge to connect the two edges, I'm going to sew on the inside edge where the two edges are folded, where they meet. So can you tell this is the edge that I'm going to sew on? So you just take your needle and your thread, and you just run your needle and thread right through this tissue tape. And it's really cool how the tape really isn't that sticky, so it doesn't really gum up your needles. And it's really easy to pull through. Like, if you could tell, I don't really have any problems pushing this through the tape whatsoever. And when you pull it tight, you can see how nicely this pulls together. I mean, there's no drag time, no resist, no anything. and you can pull it as tight or as loosely as you want. So once you get that done, you'll end up with a piece like that. And then you're going to come on that back side of the edge, because what you want is these two edges to come together like this. So you'll put the right sides together. So you'll put the tissue tape sides together on the end, making sure that you keep it taut. And you'll come and you'll sew. You'll just sew the edges together all the way down the seam. So you'll just keep sewing all the way down that seam until it's held together like that. And then you have your base for your flower. And then what I like to do is spray it with Glimmer Mist. And then once you do that, you can pull the two edges apart from each other to make it more of a three-dimensional flower shape. So you just go along the edges and you just keep pulling the fabric and the fabric tape piece away from each other. And then you end up with more of a three-dimensional flower. So there's that. And if you want just a regular edged flower, this is the 7 Gypsies Jaffer tape. And what you're going to do with this, same thing. You're going to put it on your fabric, and this time I'm using muslin. And you're going to leave just a little bit of an edge on both sides of your folds. You're going to fold this in half so that you have both edges. And then on this one, I'm going to sew on the edge, on the outside edge. So where the two are held together is where I'm going to sew. So same thing. You just do a running stitch all the way across the back, the bottom of the page, or the bottom of the strip. And then once you get done, you pull it tight, just like this. You pull it tight all the way down, and then you can start forming it into your flower shape. And if you don't want just a normal, like double layered flower, like this one I used, I just kept forming it and looping it and circling it across. If you don't want a flower like that, the other thing that you can do is take your scissors and cut little slits all the way down into the fabric tape, all the way down across your piece, all the way down, and just keep going along your strip. Just keep going, and you can do this with all of the tapes. Just keep going, and with whatever fabric you put it on. Like I showed you my felt ones, I did the tape in the center, and then you pull it tight after you get all the cuts in there. You'll pull it tight, and then you'll sew the two ends together, and this is the flower that you come up with. So you have the tissue tape on the top, and it just gives it a really cool layer of dimension. And like this one is the one that I did with the felt and the tissue tape in the center. And I actually pulled the tissue tape away because I wanted it to look like the little fringe in the center of the flower. But if you didn't want it to pull away, you could leave it stuck to the sides of the flower, like this one, and it just stays. So anyway, those are my ideas using the different tissue tapes. Tim Holtz and Studio Calico, Studio Calico, Pink Paisley, Seven Gypsies. All of these types of tapes you can create really cool and fun flowers with. And so I hope you guys will try this technique, and I hope you guys will let me know what you think. And I will be back with yet another idea on how to use the tissue tape from Tim Holtz or any of the other companies that make the awesome tape. So, thanks for watching, guys. Have a fabulous day.